Hi everyone! Thank you so much for joining me and welcome, welcome, welcome. Please let me know you're here by saying hi in the chat. Let us know that it's working. We're going to give people 1 more minute to join us because there's people joining every second or so. Thanks so much for being here. I'm really excited to chat with you about Trello. Hopefully everybody has got a Trello account. If you don't, it takes 2 seconds to sign up and it's free. So feel free to go and do that so that you can follow along with us. We've got Natalie, Whitey, Shannon. Thank you so much for joining us. I will be keeping an eye on the chat. Please do ask questions throughout. I'll do my best to keep up with them. I've got multiple screens going on here, so let's just see how we go. Now, this is a beginner's tutorial for Trello, so there is no assumed knowledge. I'm going to be talking about the free features of Trello, so you can actually upgrade Trello if you want to. I'm only talking about the free features. That's what I use day to day, both as an EA and in my personal life. So there are amazing features if you need them, particularly if you're going into project management. There are lots and lots of features you can use if you do want to upgrade, but today we're going to stick with the free ones. Who else have we got? Yanni, Georgina, hi, thank you so much for joining, welcome. Okay, the chat is working, that is fantastic. So, ask questions throughout, no assumed knowledge. Let's get into it. How exciting. So, the way I would describe Trello is, it's an online a web-based project management platform, and think of it as a really beautiful digital whiteboard. So instead of having your many fabulous colourful post-it notes stuck to a whiteboard all over the place. Hi Yvonne, hi Eloise, Sarah, so good that everybody's joining us. Please say hi, ask questions. So you've got your beautiful digital whiteboard, and that is what we're going to call our board. And think of Trello as sticking beautiful, colourful post-it notes all over this whiteboard, but it's digital, it's easy to maneuver, it's easy to change, and obviously it's much more organised. And you can take it with you. So the fact that it's web-based means you can access it from anywhere. Super simple. Hi Sandy, hi Linda. Wow, we've got loads of people joining. Thank you, welcome. If you're just joining us, I have mentioned that this is a beginner's tutorial. We're talking about only the free version of Trello. You can upgrade, but we're not going to be talking about that today. Everything that you need as an EA and to manage both your personal life and your professional life, you can do for free on Trello, which is what I actually really love about it. And feel free to ask questions as we go. You're welcome. Thanks everyone. Okay, first things first. The basis of Trello is boards, lists, and cards. So we're going to start by creating a new board. And let's just call it Alicia's test board. That's a really boring name. If you have a better name for the board, then please feel free to let me know. Maybe we'll make it blue. Actually, I like pink, in case anyone hadn't noticed. And we're going to keep it private for now and create the board. Now you can start with a template. I am not using a template because I would like a blank slate, and I'm going to tell you how I use Trello, how I set it up. Okay, super easy to customize for your role. So you've got your menu over here. I'm going to close the menu for now, but so that you know, this is where you could go to change your background. You can add stickers and all kinds of things. We will get to that later. Hi Haley, hi Nicola. Wow, so many people joining us. This is fantastic. I'm actually losing track. There we go. If you're just joining us, please feel free to ask questions as we go. Now, as I said, the basis of Trello is boards, lists, and cards. So what you're seeing right now is Alicia's test board. That's what we've got. This is a board. This is your whiteboard. The first thing you're going to want to do is add a list. So my first list I'm going to call Icebox, and I will explain that in a moment. But for now, how about I just set up a couple of lists. I'm going to have Icebox, I'm going to have work in progress, and I'm going to put pending and done. This, at its most basic, is the basis of how I use Trello. Icebox, work in progress, pending, and done. Now, within these lists, you can add what are called cards. So, for my first card, let's just call it test for now. I'm really not being very imaginative, am I? I really need to come up with some better names for these. But we're going to go test. What can be my work in progress? Let's say EA how to Facebook group. For those of you who are joining us who are not yet a member of the Facebook group, why not? Get on there. It's amazing. It's a really supportive, wonderful group. We'll talk about that again later. But let's say the work in progress is a Facebook group. I don't know. Pending, I'm just going to put a random report. It's pending, waiting on somebody. EAs, we're always waiting on someone to finish a report. And done. Now, done is where I'm going to drag things when we're finished with them. Let's say the report's done. This shows you how easy it is to maneuver and move things from different lists, sorry. Move different cards to different lists. Okay, so let's put the report in done for now. The thing I use Icebox for, Icebox is anything that I'm thinking about doing, but I'm not actively working on it right now. So maybe, as an example, someone has said to you, hey, Alicia, can you please work on updating all of the photos for the organisation chart? It's not urgent, we'll get to it. I know you're really busy right now. And I'll go, right, let's add that card, org photos. So it's something that I've got no intention of working on it right now. I am too busy. Another card might be exec team preferences. So something that I keep sitting in my Icebox is I organise a lot of events for the entire executive team. So in my Icebox, I have exec team preferences. Let's just look at a card now so that you can see what it is. The description, it's pretty much how it sounds. Exec team preferences. Because I'm being so creative today. Look, I should have held this earlier in the day. Maybe I would have been more creative. If you've got better ideas about what you'd like me to call cards, then please feel free to let me know. Exec team preferences. Let's say we're going to add a checklist. And the checklist is going to be, to start with, maybe I'm new and I just need to remember all of the names of the people on the exec team. Maybe I'm not new and I just have those days and I don't want to forget anyone because that would be really bad. So let's say I've got Ralph, I've got Dina, I have Adam, Harry, Steve, Igor, Mel. Okay, these might be the members of my executive team. Maybe Ralph's not there anymore. We've unchecked him. I better not say that. My actual CEO is Ralph, so if he ever does see this, we're not taking him off. Don't worry, Ralph, you're still here. So maybe that's a checklist that I want to do, just a list of all of the execs. In addition to that, maybe I want to make some notes about the exec team. I want to put a reminder that Mel is vegan. Okay, this isn't really the best place to put it. We'll talk about that later, but it is a comment. It means that if I just find that out at the last minute, then, you know, I've put it somewhere. We'll talk about organising our actual cards a little bit later. Who else do we have? We have Diana, Hayley. Hi, everyone. If you are joining us, because I can see there are a few people who are just joining us, welcome. Please do feel free to ask any questions. You're looking for a replacement name for the Icebox list. How about shelved projects? Oh, no, I do use Icebox. Thank you very much. Shelved projects is a really good one as well. If that's what you want to use, go for it. The way I actually do genuinely set up my board is Icebox, work in progress, pending and done. I'm just not being very creative with my Alicia's test board and test. It's a bit poor. So, Icebox is things that I am not working on right now. They're not urgent, they're not immediate tasks. Work in progress, I am working on today. This is something that I'm doing right now. So I might be doing this, I'm probably not booking much travel right now, but let's say hopefully we're all going back to normal in the near future. So I might be booking Ralph to Lisbon. Okay. Pending is something that I am waiting on somebody else for. So there's a reason it's being held up. So it could be that there is a report and the reason it's pending is because I've done everything I can with it, but I'm waiting on it to be finally signed off or something like that. Do we have any questions about that? The Facebook group is called EA How To, and I should be able... Please arrange a meetup event. Okay, I definitely will do that because I do that a lot. I'll put a link to the Facebook group, or if somebody else from the Facebook group wants to do that while I'm doing this, please go ahead. Yeah, EA How To Facebook. It's a private Facebook group for EAs only, where we can just talk about the stuff that we need to talk about. So this is the basis for how I set up my board. Now, in reality, there is another board that I use all the time because normally when we're not in isolation, I do a ton of travel booking, like a lot. So I have a travel card as well, which I don't want that after done. I want to keep done all the way over at the right, kind of Kanban method. So I'm always working from left to right, and done should be the very, very last thing. The reason I keep a done list is there's a couple of reasons. One is if I ever forget something, if somebody comes back to me and asks me about something that I did, it's there. I very, very rarely use it. But the one time that I do use it is when I'm doing my self-appraisal. So when that time of year rolls around and you need to be going back and thinking, you know, when you're asked, what have you done and what have you achieved? And you just sit there thinking, I'm so damn busy every day, but I've got no idea. I just don't know. Don't even know what I've done. It really helps to be able to go back because it shows you the kinds of things that you do day to day. Also, in this kind of climate, a lot of us are being asked to justify our roles. How busy are you? What keeps you busy? What are you doing? So if you have a done list, you can go through and say, well, you know, I schedule all of these meetings, I arrange this event, I book this travel, I do these reports, I'm responsible for organising this board meeting, and so forth. Okay? First glance, this looks similar to OneNote. I don't use OneNote yet, but here's the thing. I do have access to OneNote, and I'm going to do basically a how-to with our IT guy from TruePhone, where I work, and we're kind of encouraging people to use OneNote. I'm one of those people that needs a bit of encouraging, so I'm probably not the best person to ask about the benefits. I started using Trello because I started using Trello well before personal planning. Nature of being an EA and an organizer by nature is that we tend to like to have even our personal lives clearly mapped out on a nice little board. So I used Trello all along and I've stuck with it because I really like it and there's so many things that you can integrate with. So that's why I've been using Trello. But if anyone wants to put something in about... Sorry, I'm reading another comment. Fantastic, yeah. If you guys let each other know about OneNote, for those of you who use it, that is amazing. Okay, so we will talk about OneNote later. For those who just joining, thank you, Hayley. Those just joining, the done card is, we've got Icebox, travel, work in progress, pending, and done. Icebox is for the tasks that we are not doing urgently, the stuff that I've got on my mind, that it is on my to-do list, but I'm not working on it right now. Travel is pretty self-explanatory. I book a lot of travel, so I have a specific card just for travel. And I'm going to actually show you how I use travel in a second. Work in progress, things that I'm working on right now, today. If they need to, maybe I need to drag them to pending because maybe I'm waiting on something. Sometimes I can just move them to done. When they move to done, that's it. They're closed and I only keep that done list. So if I do need to go back and find something or if I need to kind of justify how I spend my time, that really, really helps. It also really helps come appraisal time. Let's do a travel card, because this is what I do. I really started using Trello for in the first place. So let's say we're doing a Paris conference. Maybe it's called EA How to Con. That sounds really bad, actually. Okay. Going into the Paris conference card, what I would do if I was booking this Paris conference, I would say what the conference is. So it is, I'm not being very imaginative again, am I? It is an industry conference. And put a link to the conference. On this trip, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to have a travel checklist. Now, you can actually import checklists, so you do not have to do this every single time, but we haven't set this up yet. But for other trips, you can go, I'm going to copy the travel checklist from the Paris conference and add it in. So, you know, you've got your basics. You're going to book the Eurostar. You're going to book accommodation. You're going to do seating preferences. Someone else tell me what else you want to put on the travel checklist. Oh my goodness, 2:45 a.m. Are you in Australia or something, Diana? Guys, if it's 2:45 a.m., this will be made available, and I do promise to do some stuff in multiple time zones. Yeah, please. It's not exciting enough for 2:45 a.m. I mean, I wish I was, but good night. Okay, Eurostar, accommodation, seating preferences, dinner bookings, travel insurance, possibly. What do we got? Okay, you get the idea. The other thing we might want to book conference tickets. The other thing we might want to do is include a link to the conference. Now, I don't actually have a link handy, but let's just find... eaglobal.org. This is not an endorsement. I actually have no idea what that is. But let's just pretend that that's what we're using. So... Sorry, we've got a bit of lag going on here. Now, when you're booking travel, obviously time is of the essence. So you might want to put a due date. Our due date, we need to have all of the booking for this done by Friday the 12th. And I'm going to say at... It's a terrible time to have to do something. But I'm going to set a reminder 2 days before. So now we have a due date for our card. And a time and a reminder. Now, let's see if we have other questions because I've closed the YouTube thingy. Oh, visa requirements, currency, cars to and from the station. Guys, you're amazing. Thank you so much. Executive briefing for individuals. Itinerary, of course, obviously. Thank you. You guys are fantastic. So you're going to put a link so that you can easily go to the website. You might put a link to the accommodation. You can put a link to anything you want. Maybe you're putting a link to car hire. This is all just for your planning purposes. If you want to, you can add a cover photo or a cover image. Not going to do that right now. An attachment. So this is something that I use a lot. As a backup, I want to keep everything here. So I might send the e-tickets, the conference tickets, or just the confirmation so that I have everything in the one place. Okay? And you can add from your computer, you can attach a link, so lots of different ways. And as you can see, you can attach from OneDrive. So for those of you asking about OneDrive, you can totally do that. You can copy this card and you can copy one checklist, or if you have multiple checklists, totally up to you. So you do not need to go through, once Trello is set up, you do not need to keep doing this amount of setup each time. You can if you want, but you don't have to. I'm going to move to a board now that I actually have used as a demo before. Who knows what's actually on it? And you can see all of these pretty colors on here. This is labels. Now, if you have multiple labels and you can't remember what they are, you can either hover over them or you can click on them. And so you can see that I've labeled internal meetings, stuff that involves the executive team I've put on there, stuff that involves travel or an event. So there's lots of different ways you can choose to use labels. They get really, really handy if your board is getting very, very big. So I do use them for sure. I particularly like using things that are marked executive team and travel. But use it however you like. I find that you can filter through labels, which is really handy. But labels come in very, very handy once you do project management. Okay, so if you imagine that sometimes if you have a particular project that you might have hundreds of these cards and you might be collaborating with people on them. So we haven't gotten to that yet, but you can actually collaborate with people on Trello. So you can add team members so that you're all working in the one place, which is actually the point of Trello. You're not using it to its full potential if it's only you using it. But in a lot of organizations, it might not be the one of the default or even allowed platforms to use. So you have to be a little bit careful there. So let's assume that for all intents and purposes, you are allowed to use Trello. Super, super handy to be able to collaborate with people. Something that I use Trello to collaborate on is, for example, procedure manuals. So you can upload documents and you can work on them with team members. You're all getting changes at the same time. It's all synced and everybody can see what everybody is up to. So if you're all checking things off the list together. You can allocate tasks. All of that's getting a little bit involved for what we're talking about today, but just know that you can actually do it. So you can add files, you can add links, you can add checklists and labels. Do we have any questions about checklists, labels? I think the best thing you can do with these kinds of features is to just play with them. One thing that I find really, really handy that I absolutely love is there is one power-up that is free and that you can do while you're using the free version of Trello. So to start using lots of power-ups, if you want to integrate it with Canva, if you want to integrate with, and I mean there are literally thousands, if you want to do that, you're going to need to pay to upgrade Trello. But you can have your calendar, and that is really, really handy. So let's go back to the test board because we haven't already got the calendar on there, and I'll show you what you can do. You can integrate Trello for free with your Outlook calendar, with your Google Calendar, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now, demonstrating with Google Calendar. So you're going to go to your menu in the top right hand corner, and down here you can see power-ups. I've got so many things going at the same time right now that of course it's decided to freeze. So we just do the waiting dance. Now, you could spend hours going through and looking at all of the different things that you can sync and power up with Trello. And there's some great stuff. And it's really, what you do here is going to depend on what your role involves. And so I'd recommend just flicking through. But one thing that everybody can use that is free is calendar. So just go into the left and search for calendar. And you'll get this one right here. Add. And you're going to get a message saying this board has reached its power up limit. So you need to upgrade to do any more. Okay? We're not upgrading right now. But now you have this handy little calendar feature up here. Okay, so we've only just started doing this board. There's only one thing on here, but it is for Friday the 12th, Paris Conference, EA How2Con. If you go to the settings, you can enable sync, and you're going to get this little link here. Okay, so you want to copy the link. And I'm just going to show you how to sync with a Google Calendar. Okay. So open up your Google Calendar. On the left-hand side, where you have other calendars that you can add, you're going to add from URL. And this is exactly the same for Outlook. Okay, we're not going to make it publicly accessible. Add calendar. One thing to note is that sometimes with Trello, it can take a few minutes to sync. The changes are not always instant. So it will sync. I've never had it not sync, but it might not be instant. You might need to refresh or give it a few minutes. Let's see. We're going to need to go to June. We've got June there. Let's go Google. May or may not be here yet. We may need to come back at the end. Any questions while we're on this? I can assure you it will sync. That's the main thing. The other thing that you can do, once your cards start getting really, really big and busy, let's go back to the demo, you can link cards and boards. So you can have some that you share with other people and some that you keep private. You can filter them. So for example, let's be a link to a card. Let's go procedure manual and copy. And we can create another card from this. Or, okay, so maybe we want to do that and then drag it. So sorry guys, I'm getting a little bit of lag going on. To work in progress. Maybe it's a different procedure manual. Oh my goodness, why can't I click? I'm doing so well. And you can filter. So let's do a little filter demonstration. Oh, actually, before we do that, you can watch, so you can keep an eye on certain boards. You can print and export. That one can come in handy as well. This is if you want to close the board forever. And this is where you go to create your labels. So loads of different things you can do there. Are we getting questions and I'm just totally missing them, or everyone's on the same page here? How are we doing, guys? Send me a message to let me know what kinds of things do you think Trello would be handy for you. Let's see. Okay, you can add and remove permissions, so you can add members, commenting permissions, yeah, to-do lists for multiple executives or clients, exactly. So if you have multiple execs, so many different ways you can use this, and you kind of just need to figure out what's best for you. You might have a board per exec. Really depends on how much you do for multiple execs. I try to keep everything on the one board. I really don't like having to change between boards. I generally, the way I use it, I have a board that is just for me, and then I have shared boards. I don't like having multiple, I mean, apart from the fact that I have a work board and a personal board, because I don't want those kind of in the way, because when I'm looking at my personal board, I don't want to be looking at work. So shared boards, super, super handy for when you're dealing with other team members, collaborating on projects. Super easy example, if you're organizing an event, really, really handy to be organizing events through Trello. You can keep track of absolutely everything. Maybe we're going to call one Christmas party, because maybe the Christmas party is actually going to be a huge, huge event and it needs its own list. So you could have cards for guest list. You might have a separate card for venue options because you haven't actually decided yet. You know, when you're walking around going to view different venues, just keeping track of them and then narrowing them down. You know, meal options. So when I was planning last year's Christmas party, I did use a separate Trello list, and this is exactly how I did it. So loads of restaurants and venues in the area were sending me menu samples. I would attach the PDF and then share it with other people who were co-organising so that everybody could see everything in the one place. It saved a lot of forwarding emails to loads of different people and asking for feedback. You could just, everyone can pop in their comments. It's really, really handy. You can import Trello into Microsoft Teams. Yes, absolutely. It's fantastic. Add folders from SharePoint as an attachment in cards. Exactly. Perfect. Perfect way to use it. Thank you very, very much. Does anyone have any questions about how we actually use it? This is pretty much the basics of Trello. You've actually got it right here. It's very user-friendly. It's quite beautiful. I mean, this isn't even getting into fully how wild Trello can look, and you know, you can add photos, you can add various backgrounds. There's so much you can do. So let me know if you have any other questions. While we're on this, I know earlier somebody was asking about the EA How To Facebook group. It is a group that is just for EAs. It's a place where we can help each other out. Can you share about archiving cards? Yeah, I mean, archiving cards is basically just deleting. Can I copy a card from one board to another? Yes, you can. I very rarely do it, but let's see. So the person who was asking about archiving, so you just want to get rid of it. It's not very easy for you to see. There is a place that you can go, I'm sure, to find what you've archived. I very rarely do it. I drag everything into done. We're freezing. So you can actually go copy board under more, and I don't know what we're planning, but let's say the only other team I have on here at the moment is TruePhone. Keep cards, keep card template. Okay. Except I can't show you the TruePhone board as an example because it's work stuff and a bit confidential. So many things you can play around with, guys. If anybody has used the version of Trello that is not free and wants to let anybody know in the comments. My sound may have dropped out for a moment. Sorry, Estelle. Hopefully you can all hear me now. Hopefully. Sound is good. Perfect. Thanks, Anna. Yeah. I can't show you copying to the other board because it's only going to let me copy to a work board. So next time I can have a different demo set up. But look, the best thing you can do with Trello is to just sit and play with it. work out how you want to do it yourself, but I highly recommend going from a kind of Kanban method of going from left to right. So Icebox, I do actually on my work one have a meetings to schedule list because I get so many. And you know, the most frustrating thing in the world is when you're sitting at your desk and you're in the middle of something super busy and somebody comes up and goes, hey Alicia, I need you to book a meeting with the finance team, and they just throw all of the details at you, okay? I really quickly make a note, or I'm scribbling randomly on paper depending on where I am, and I put it in meetings to schedule because I don't have time to schedule it right now. I'm in the middle of something and, you know, I need to look at calendars and coordinating, that kind of thing. So I do have a meetings to schedule tab, and once I've scheduled them, I drag them into done. It also means that, you know, I can go back and check the details if I needed to for some reason. I do use the travel one, as I said, and then I drag it into done. Work in progress is for things that I'm working on right now. I'm raising purchase orders, I'm doing the summer party booking, I'm booking an away day, and these are all things I'm working on today. If there is anything that is pending, this list means I need to chase people because I'm waiting on them, basically. Team objectives. Somebody hasn't given me their objectives, or I'm waiting for them to be signed off, something like that. Once I have those things, move them to done. Once the Christmas party is over and I no longer need to see this list at all, I can just archive the list. Okay, you're so welcome, Christine. Thank you so much for joining me, everyone. That is pretty much it. That's a wrap. If you are an EA and you haven't yet joined the EA How To Facebook page, please do that. Not the page, the group. Use it correctly, Alicia. The group. It's a private group. It is a group where we post lives, tips. If you have a dilemma, we have anonymous dilemmas. So if there's something that is a little bit sensitive work-wise that you obviously don't want people to have your name on it, that's understandable. I'm happy to post an anonymous dilemma where needed. You can just ask questions, vote on things. You're so welcome. I'm glad you appreciate it. Let me know what else you would like lives on. Got a message from Ross, my IT guy, who is a little bit concerned that I went and told you all that I'm going to do a video with him. Ross, you knew we were going to do a video together. Don't pretend you didn't. And sorry, I also missed a message asking if I could move the video square to the bottom. My bad. Anyone else having a hard time finding the Facebook group? I am going to post a link right now. Okay, guys, give me 1 second if you're having trouble finding it. I've had a lot of comments about, here you go guys, I'm posting it now for everyone saying that they can't find it. There you go. Facebook.com/groups/EA How To. I've had so many comments about the group rule. Apparently, our group only has one rule. If you go to join it, you'll see what it is because you're asked to agree to it to join. And I've had so many people message me about it. I didn't realize it was that unique, but I'm really glad. A reminder on Trello looks like this. So you can see that the reason this reminder, sorry, who asked that? I've completely missed. Anne. So reminders are actually really handy. They're green when you've got time, and you can change the settings on this, but let's say because it's more than 4 days away or something, it's green. It'll turn orange and it'll turn red when it's overdue. So as you get closer, love the rule. Glad you like it, Sarah. So it'll go orange when it's coming up to time, and you can have a reminder pop up, and as I said, sync it with your calendar, and it'll actually work as a normal reminder on your Outlook calendar as well. But this right here is what reminders look like. Okay, so when your reminders start turning red, you know you're you're overdue, basically. I hope that answers that question. Right, my battery is actually dying and I was on full battery. I don't know what's going on, but everything is on overload. So thank you so much for joining me. It's really, really lovely to see you all. Join the Facebook group, say hi, ask for more of these. Let me know what kinds of live events and tutorials you want to see, because I am always more than happy to do it. If you are an expert on something and you want to offer to host a live event, whether it's on the YouTube channel or on the Facebook group, please let me know and I would be more than happy to help make that happen. So that's pretty much it for now, guys. Thank you so much. See you, everyone in the UK. Have a lovely evening. Everyone else, enjoy the rest of your day at work, and I will see you in the Facebook group.